The 2025 UNGA comes at a time of increased global tensions, deepened by unending conflicts which have taken hundreds of thousands of lives in various parts of the world. In Europe, in the Middle East, and in Africa, a common thread runs through, which is war, deaths, hunger, and an unimaginable human suffering. In Africa, political crisis and extremism have spiraled into deadly outcomes from DR Congo to Ethiopia and from Somalia to Sudan. The armed conflict in Sudan, often described as a forgotten war, which began in April 2023, has so far displaced over 13 million people, with tens of thousands of deaths. It has also been described as the world's largest humanitarian crisis. UNICEF estimates that 15 million children are in dire need of humanitarian assistance. The UN has since raised the alarm for a severe food crisis, breakdown of health services, and widespread human rights violations. So what has the UN done? It has passed Security Council resolutions calling for ceasefire, established an independent human rights council to investigate violations, and is coordinating humanitarian efforts. In all, the UN seal appears helpless to stop the carnage, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres pleading for the world not to turn its back on Sudan. The tragedy is that while Sudan bleeds, the rest of the world seems to have moved on. Grabbing and sustaining the international headlines instead are the conflict in Gaza and the Ukraine-Russia war. Gaza is now a field of rubble as Israel intensifies its assault, which it says is targeted at Hamas. The collateral damage has been scary. Palestine Health Ministry estimates that 63,000 Gazans have been killed directly from the war, including children and women, while about 145,000 wounded. But the humanitarian crisis is mind-boggling, with the Gaza Health Ministry reporting thousands of hunger-related deaths, evoking global concerns. On June 4, 2025, the UN Security Council failed to pass a resolution for unconditional ceasefire after it was vetoed by the United States. 8 days later, on June 12, the General Assembly adopted the ceasefire resolution by an overwhelming majority of 149, with 12 against and 19 abstaining. But it has had little effect as the killings continue.
This draft resolution had a simple goal: demanding a ceasefire that would allow the beginning of the monumental work needed to end the horrific humanitarian situation, to stop the genocide, to release hostages and prisoners, and to get the Israeli occupying forces out of Gaza before they get a chance to implement their plans to destroy our people.
The war in Gaza is therefore expected to be a dominant issue of the 2025 high-level debate. But it could also mark a turning point in Western stance towards the conflict, with the United Kingdom, France, Australia, Canada, Malta, and Belgium announcing they will recognize Palestine as a state at the General Assembly. Interestingly, the host of the conference on Israel's staunchest ally, the United States, has reportedly imposed visa restrictions on everyone holding a Palestinian passport, including Gazans, according to the New York Times.
We thank the United States for standing on the right side, for standing on the side of truth, justice, and moral clarity. Thank you for refusing to abandon the hostages and for refusing to legitimize the lies of this resolution.
The Russia-Ukraine conflict may also serve up fresh verbal exchanges at the 2025 UNGA. Since the invasion of Ukraine by Russia in February 2022, hostilities have continued unabated, again exposing the failure of world leaders and the United Nations. Other highlights of the 80th session of the General Assembly will include sustainable development targets of addressing world poverty, health, water, sanitation, and illiteracy, which many countries are already falling behind, with 5 years to the target year. New national action plans on climate change are also expected to be adopted. So while the world prepares for a debate, the outcome may, as usual, have little or no impact on the millions dying each day and the billions whose existence are under threat.